Saving the first 100,000 is hard, but it is also often the most rewarding. I managed to save my first 100,000 before the age of 30, and these are the mindset hacks that I think work very well for me, and I hope you can pick up some nuggets along the way. The first thing that worked the best for me is thinking about how much work is needed in order to cover the expenses. So every time you spend, you have to think about how much work does it take for you to earn your expenses back. This is a very big straw for me. So as an example, imagine if you're earning about $25 per hour, and if you need to buy a gadget that costs you around $1,000, this will take you around 40 hours of work time in order to buy the fancy gadget that you wanted. So whenever I thought of how much work is needed in order for me to make my purchases, I will usually think twice. And if you're in a commission job, it's the same thing. If you know that every sales that you make will make you around $100, then if you would need to buy a $1,000 gadget, you would have to make 10 sales before you're able to cover the spending. This makes me very aware of, do I really want to spend the amount of effort and time for me to do this purchase? And thinking twice gives you some time to think before you make the purchase. So try to do your own calculation, take your annual income, divide by the amount of hours you work for the year. If you need a benchmark, you can just use around like 40 to 50 hours a week and multiply it by 52 weeks, and you have a total number of hours, and use the income divided by the amount of hours, and you will know how much you are earning per hour basis. And try doing this calculation for your next purchase, and I hope it helps you to have more clarity to see if that big purchase is worth the effort. The second mindset shift that really worked well for me is thinking about opportunity cost. So I talk a lot about investing your money, making your money work. So I know that every single dollar that I spend, it is put into a spending and it can't be put to work. So imagine this, if you buy a $5 coffee every single day for 365 days, it costs you about $1,800 a year. And that is $1,800 worth of money that you are actually able to do an investment for yourself. And what if this $1,008, if you compound it by 20 to 30 years, it can go up to 100 over 1,000. And thinking about opportunity cost, it also allowed me to step back and think about my purchases. So I always have this calculator which I will show on the website. This calculator allows you to see how much money if you're intending to spend, and if you are able to compound it by a certain percentage, in this scenario, it will actually help you grow to a certain amount. And when you see the amount which is very lucrative, it makes you think twice whether is it a good idea to spend the money. So this second point works also very well for me. Okay, so over here, let's say you start with no money and it's actually for 30 years and you're able to get a 8% return. So assuming you're able to save $1,000 a month every single month. So basically what happened itself, right, if you do the calculation, is the opportunity cost is you are able to contribute 360,000, but the total return itself, right, across all these years, it will become 1.4 million. So every dollar that you spend, there's always an opportunity cost you need to consider. And the third point is I embrace the idea of minimalism. In fact, right now, I don't really think I'm at the phase of minimalism, but more of essentialism. I really only buy things that I need. First of all is to actually keep the house clutter-free. And I always have this thinking that the less you have, the easier for you to maintain what you have. And the more you have, the more time and effort have to be spent trying to maintain the things that you have. So I tend to buy less things, embracing this mindset. And at the same time, I buy quality rather than buying quantity. So less stuff means more space, fewer distractions, more money for things that truly matters. And the last bonus point that I can share with you is you have to know what you want. So everything I do comes back to one thing, that I know I want to achieve financial freedom. And when you have this big goal that you really wanted to achieve, you will start to tie all the small decisions in your life towards that goal. Of course, there are some other techniques that you can do to make you save faster. And I believe the mindset hacks are the biggest mover that helped me save my first 100,000 before the age of 30. So if your goal is also to achieve financial freedom, start today with all the small baby steps and try the techniques that I mentioned earlier. See how well does it work for you. So do subscribe to the channel for the next series on more tips to save your first 100,000. Look forward to sharing more in the next video.